Okay, welcome back to more of Lost Isle. And we should be pretty much finishing up this quest in this part. It's just the ending bit, fighting the final boss and all. And this is actually a good place to grind for health refills. A lot of grass down here for whatever reason. Okay, now we're at full health. We just continue on through the center passage. And yeah, you gotta solve this block puzzle again. Luckily it's not too difficult. So we'll just kind of squeeze our way through this. And you're going to be finding a number of death bows on the way to, through these locked doors. Pretty much you only have to get rid of them to get in your way. Otherwise, if they're on the sides or something, you can kind of just ignore them. And if you got them all in a line, then your awesome arrows actually work really well. Because actually only takes 5 arrows to knock out a death bow, which is actually pretty good. And if they start kind of getting around you, you can always use the doorway. Just spam the doorway. Just kind of snipe them off. Alright, so we're in this little tiny room. This is basically going to be your battlefield, which is not a lot of space to work with. And here you're gonna get the full story behind this guy. I think you may have read part of this in the logbooks in the plagued laboratory, but again, you get the full story in this little flashback scene. Well, that wasn't that hard to defeat him. I like the sprite on the guy on the lower right there. So almost looks like comes from the Final Fantasy sprite. Yeah, so that's the whole story of how this guy came about. And now we start the final battle with the kind of appropriate music. And this first part is just defeating enemies and mostly dodging stuff. Yeah, those little black holes there, you don't want to step into them. They do a lot of damage to you. Luckily it doesn't take too many arrows to bust that black hole. After busting all those black holes, and then you got the two hands to deal with, so just spam some arrows. And having awesome arrows is actually very helpful because of more damage and piercing properties. And then we get hit by the lightning of doom. You know, you could have done that at the beginning of the game. Could have finished Link off right from the get-go. Okay, well, guess got some more work to do. And yeah, here comes the second phase of this, and you notice you're kind of lost a closed space there. You know, that kind of looks like Majora's Mask in a way. I'm actually wondering if this kind of got glitched a little bit. Because I think I hear like fire breathing. There's like supposed to be a fire clock there, but... or something like that. But there's nothing coming out. Yeah, most of this battle is just dodging. And that is when you hit the boss. Yeah, the fireballs aren't really that big an issue. Yeah, I think the fire's getting glitched up there, because I'm not seeing any fire to dodge. And then here, again, just positioning yourself to dodge. And after you get the second hit, you actually want to start moving left. And you'll see why. Yeah, otherwise you get comboed by that fire, and the damage kind of adds up pretty quickly. And this part's mostly just dodging more projectiles. And there we go. Turned into a ice crystal thing there. Destroyed by the power of awesome arrows. Although I think you only need holy arrows at the minimum. I think the awesome arrows are just a nice bonus. Broken in half. Just got owned. Yeah, this part's gonna suck a little bit. You think you're gonna drop me off right by the coastline or something. Yeah, that's not a lot of time, and you'll see why. Oh, you screw up on a screen, you're dead. This is why this is a little bit nerve-wracking. And when it flashes, you have about, I would say, like 5 seconds. Better just to stun enemies. You know, if you don't need to kill anything here, you just want to get out as fast as you can. This gets a bit nerve-wracking. And there we go. Yeah, you just want to get out as fast as you can. You know, just really forget all the enemies. You know, I got my candle on backup because I can just try to boost myself through enemies, especially those death bows. And there we go. The whole island has just blown up, and Link survives. Apparently frees all these ghosts. All the villagers. Well, at least that's somewhat of a happy ending for them. Yeah, you're noticing this is not a very happy ending. You know, Link is stranded on a small raft in the middle of nowhere. No control over his fate. And it's pretty much left at that point. You don't know what happens to him. You know, this is a very interesting quest. Very dark story to it. Kind of similar to Majora's Mask in a way. You know, 4 main dungeons. You know, even the final boss kind of looks like a Majora's Mask. And again, really no happy ending here. You know, Link is stranded in the middle of nowhere. Just in the middle of the ocean. Okay, what we're getting here, I think, is almost like a past history. You know, it just goes from the start, you know, when the village was, you know, the island actually had inhabitants, to the actual battles that basically made the whole island deserted. Kind of a nice way to close things off. And you kind of see how this all happened. Not sure why the screen kind of flickers there. That's kind of weird. May have something to do with the ZC build I'm using. So again, all these flashbacks are scenes from before, you know, Link came onto the island. And one final view of the boss arena there. And the end. With at least the ghosts are all happy. Yeah, that's a little hint that there's a little more there. And for some reason, I don't have my bombs. Okay, so we're just gonna, you know, save and quit here. But there's actually just a little more to go through. Yeah, no need to panic. We're not like... You imagine like you're only halfway through this quest. Oh my gosh, it'd be like, oh my gosh, there's still another half of this game left to play. Yeah, but this is just a little extra bit. You notice you're on Last Isle, not Lost Isle. And really not much here. Find one potion there. I'll explain that portal in a little bit after I explore this place. Luckily there's not too much here. pretty much just simple enemies. So, you know, just explore around the place a little bit. So I think there are 2 of those half potions. I guess to replenish your supply if you use them up against the final boss. Which is, you know, very possible because... very possible because of the amount of damage you take from most of the attacks. And like the damage can stack up really quickly. Okay, so let's take a look in this cave. Ain't really not much here. And here we actually find a boomerang upgrade. You know, here's your magic boomerang. You know, picking up the bomberang. Kind of an odd name. But basically this is your fire boomerang. Actually very interesting trail of fire there. I think it's supposed to resemble like, you know, bomb explosions. Okay, so this portal, if you want to, it actually takes you back to Lost Isle. Imagine like a time warp. It takes you back just before battling Morlock. And just before that point. Again, if you use the portal, you'll end up back at Lost Isle. And you can fight the final boss again if you want. It's a pretty long quest. Look at the playtime is like... Even though there's only like 4 dungeons, but there's just a lot of overworld to explore. The dungeons are, you know, quite long and complicated as well. You're not just going to be able to walk straight through. You know, you're going to have to work a bit to get through the place. Okay, so that is it for Lost Isle. I think I found at least most, if not all the, at least all the big secrets. You know, may have missed a few small things, but those are like just optional things. But I found all the big items. Beat the final boss, and got this fire boomerang, basically. Just for collection purposes. Alright, so that will be it for Lost Isle. Hopefully you enjoyed this Let's Play of this quest. Again, it's actually a very good quest, just a very dark story to it. So don't expect happy endings. But again, very good quest to at least try out. Alright, I will see you guys later in whatever next LP I decide to do.